Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com. In this video, we're looking at a watch from Tissot with their solid dive watch with the Tissot Seastar, this one in black PVD. So in this video and on this channel, we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com. So what we're gonna do here, full in-depth review, final points of consideration at the end. Also throughout this video, if you have any further questions, check out the link in the description to the product page where you can learn more, purchase the watch, as well as book a time with one of our dedicated watch specialists as well. But guys, let's jump into the video, take a closer look at this watch. Both Tissot and the Seastar collection are familiar faces when it comes to this channel. I'm a strong proponent of what Tissot develops as one of the best value for money propositions in the world of Swiss watchmaking. And the Seastar is essentially their approach to going the route of the dive watch and is probably one of the best and most compelling dive watches in the price range of under $1,000. Now we've covered many different variations of the Seastar 1000 collection, but today we're going to be looking at one that has a bit more of a tactical appeal with this black PVD case version. Taking a look at the Seastar 1000 on the wrist, the case measures at 43 millimeters across and just a shade under 50 millimeters with a lug-to-lug distance of 49.6 millimeters, while sitting at 12.7 millimeters thick. Certainly this is a larger, sporty watch by nearly any standard. However, given the dimensions, it actually wears closer to a 41 to 42 millimeter case size. Despite the moderate thickness, the Seastar 1000 is water resistant to a healthy 300 meters, making it suitable for real use underwater. Now that considered, given that this one is going to be PVD coated, it is going to probably lean into a more show rather than actual utility. The case is PVD coated stainless steel with a combination of brush and polish finishing along the sides, around the crown, and down the lugs. The PVD coating here, despite being in an entry-level segment, I find is one of the better executions of this in this price category. This and Hamilton, I think, are probably two of the leaders in the pack when you're talking about a mainstream, mass appealing brand. That said, when it comes to PVD, there are still concerns when it comes to it showing its wear a little bit less gracefully than that of traditional stainless steel. So just keep that in mind. Between the lugs measures 21 millimeters on this version, so that is a bit of a downside of this piece. But between those lugs is a soft, sporty rubber strap with an embossed T running from the shoulder down to the length of the strap and is finished off with a matching PVD coated pin buckle. The buckle also showcases the same combination of brush and polish finishes and is signed with the Tissot name. Transitioning back to the case, the well-proportioned bezel is fitted with a highly reflective black ceramic insert with bold silver minute markings and is finished off with a luminous pip inside the triangle marker. The bezel rotates unidirectionally at 120 clicks with just a bit of play, but it is easy to operate and overall has a solid feel to it. A screw-down crown is positioned between two bolstered crown guards, providing additional protection and aiding in the water resistance of 300 meters. The crown is also easy to engage. Unscrewing it to the first position will operate in typical fashion to hand wind the watch, pull to the second position to change the date, and then setting the time can be adjusted at that farthest pulled out point, while hacking seconds being a feature here as well. Protecting the black dial, you have an AR-coated sapphire crystal that sits nice and flush with the bezel and provides a clear view beneath. There are going to be some instances where obstructed viewing angles might come into play here, given that you're dealing with a black dial. Typically is going to be really tough with reflections, and that is somewhat of an effect here. That black dial, though, features a subtle sunburst effect with contrasting white lettering used for the printing of Tissot in its name, and 1853 just below that, the year of its founding. You will also find white lettering used for the Seastar Powermatic 80 for the printing there too. Large indices containing superluminova are found at each hour, a triangular index at the 12 o'clock, rectangular indices at the quarter, 3, 6, and 9, and rounded markers filling out the remainder of the hours. A step-minute track around the outside of the dial indices adds some additional depth to that black surface. Large impressive sword, hour, and minute hands containing superluminova are coupled with a long, thin, lollipop sweeping second hand that features a Tissot T counterweight, which is a nice design touch to bring it all full circle. The superluminova does have a nice greenish blue glow to it, but maybe not as strong as some of the other competitors like Seiko, for example. Overall, though, it does a pretty solid job in low lit environments. Finally, tying in the dial together is the date window at the 6. Rather than using a traditional rectangular cutout, Tissot has opted for a beveled circular window, displaying a black date wheel with more white print. helping to match with the rest of the dial. And that circular date aperture is going to create less of a visual, just jarring dynamic compared to some other apertures that I've seen executed in this price range. Now flipping the watch over, we find a screw down exhibition case back revealing the Powermatic 80 movement based on the ETA C07111 within. Now this is one of the entry-level Powermatic 80 movements on the inside, and like many of these movements of this type from Swatch Group brands, the 80-hour power reserve is going to be the #1 selling point of this piece, which is going to completely destroy much of the competition outside of the group. How they're able to achieve this is by taking a general ETA base and then bringing down the beat rate to 21,600 vibrations per hour or 3 hertz to take that power reserve that is approximately around 40 hours or so, and then drastically extending it to 80 hours. This creates some great everyday type of scenarios where you can just put this one on and not have to worry about the reserve running out. And it's certainly going to create some spoiled individuals who are able to get into the 80-hour power reserve and then have to jump into something outside of the Swatch Group and be let down by the typical 38 to 50 hours. Right away, you're going to notice a few things. One, with the rotor, it's going to be decorated just slightly with a wave pattern and inscribed with the Tissot logo. But generally, this is a pretty utilitarian movement, really focusing on that extended power reserve. You're also going to have a modified balance assembly as well, which is going to help resist against general shock, but we'll opt for getting rid of the traditional regulating pin. Simply put, this is a good no-nonsense type of movement from the Swatch Group and should be reliable and give you all the utility on the back end. So as mentioned, the Tissot Seastar is a watch that I have been a strong proponent of for quite some time, and much of the same points that I bring up every time I look at these watches will remain here. Ceramic bezels, suitable water resistance, reliable movement on the inside with a lengthy power reserve. It's really hard to beat these watches in the price range. They are going to be made for a larger wrist, so that is going to be one of the challenges. And when it comes to this particular version, this is going to opt for a different type of aesthetic that probably is not going to be as mass appealing, a bit more tactical in its approach, which also comes with some downsides with the PVD coating, but some big upsides if you are in favor of this blacked out look. With the rise of a lot of brands creating these types of just kind of murdered out looks of watches, maybe look towards Tudor and the recent ceramic piece, I've been getting a lot of questions about what is a good option in the affordable range or something that I don't have to spend as much money on. This is a type of watch that comes to mind quickly as a nice alternative to that in a format that is very familiar but truly doesn't get old. All right, guys, well, thank you again so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That really does help out the channel, and I would appreciate it. Also, if you're in the market for this watch, check it out on TeddyBaldassarre.com. Full authorized dealer of all the brands that we carry, quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support. We also offer a full factory warranty for all the products that we offer. So if something goes wrong, you're not having to pay the bill for it, and that can get expensive. Also, we offer price match, so if you see one of our watches for cheaper at another authorized dealer, fill out the form, we'll get in touch with you. And finally, 9 out of every $10 that we generate goes right back in the content that we're creating here, as well as on our main channel, helping to foster up a new generation of watch enthusiasts in the process. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.